Welcome to Cable 10 Live. I'm your host, Raquel Rodriguez. With the holidays just around the corner, you're probably looking for some great gift-giving ideas. And here on Cable 10 Live, we've got just the answer for you. An empty shoebox wrapped up. Now, it's more than just that, more than just wrapping or decorating an empty shoebox. And to talk to us more about this awesome shoebox project are the co-coordinators of the Peel Region Shoebox project. Joining us in studio tonight, Veronica Marsden and Jacqueline Findlay. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening.
Thanks, Raquel.
Now, this sounds like an amazing project. Tell us a little bit more about what the Shoebox project is all about.
Well, the Shoebox project is very, very simple. It's just a matter of getting a shoebox and either wrapping it in festive paper and then filling it with little items that a woman would enjoy. And these women are all women who are in need, so they are things that they would not be able to afford.
Okay.
So things like toiletries, makeup,
Personal
candy,
care
of course,
products.
And little luxuries as well, like chocolates or special things that make it festive.
Now, is this Shoebox project just something that's around for the holiday season?
Actually, most of us do it mainly during the holiday season, but some of the chapters across Canada also celebrate Mother's Day. So you can do it any time of the year. But we mainly do it at Christmas time, during the holiday season.
Now, I know mothers, women tend to usually put their families ahead of themselves. So this project focuses on the wonderful women in the community. Tell us a little bit more about the community involvement that's been participating with the Shoebox project.
Well, the community involvement has been nothing short of amazing. Last year we had hoped, it was our first year, and we'd hoped to get 100 women participating and donating shoeboxes, and we ended up with 800 shoeboxes.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is something that really, really resonates with the women in our community. And this year, we're sitting right now with 1,200 shoeboxes.
That is amazing.
And they're actually just starting to come in. We don't have room for them anymore.
Now, how long of a process is this, and when did you guys start building these shoeboxes?
Well, we really start the planning process in September. We actually had a meeting with people that expressed an interest in being volunteers. So we gathered the volunteers and we talked about different ways that they could contribute to the project. And then we started sending our messages out to our database, and we actually started to collect the shoeboxes in October.
Okay.
So it's quite a long process.
It is. It is. And for those who want to get involved, is it too late in the game now to start your own shoebox project?
Well, we'll welcome shoeboxes anytime up until really the first week of December. And then we'll be starting our delivery. So we would welcome anyone that would like to make a shoebox and deliver it to us.
Now, what are some of the community partners involved in the Shoebox project, and who are the women in the community that benefit most from this?
Well, all of the boxes go to women who are living in shelters and to the outreach programs that the shelters run as well. Plus, we also service the women who go to a day program with the Salvation Army. So they are all women who are in need and who have left home with basically nothing. And they're in the shelter either alone or with their children, and at Christmas time they don't get to go home. So it's very, very tragic for them. So if we can brighten their day, give them something that puts a smile on their face, you know, why not?
No, for sure.
And I think it really makes them realize that they're not forgotten, that there are women in the community that care about them.
And you never know, right?
No.
It could be someone
in your backyard, it could be your
Exactly.
next door neighbor. You have no idea.
Exactly.
And I think that that's really what resonates with the women that are working with us, that they realize that everyone's vulnerable.
Okay. Now, what are some of the products that are the most important or popular or the most needed products to include in your shoebox?
Well, we like to include basic toiletries like shampoo, conditioner, toothbrush, toothpaste, but also some little luxuries that women in shelters just wouldn't afford or couldn't afford for themselves. So makeup is very popular, treats like chocolate, festive things, you know, soap that smells nice, lovely hand lotions. So the basic essentials, but also some little luxuries.
Right. Now, you do have a couple of shoe boxes here in studio for us tonight. Let's talk about what's in your shoe box, Veronica.
All right. Well, what's in my shoebox is, the very top is actually a poem that I wrote, just letting the women know that we really do care about them, and there's a whole community that cares. And we ask our volunteers to actually sign them. So everyone is personally signed by the women that have made the shoe boxes.
Yes.
And we love to, if we can, put a cosmetic bag in.
Some of the luxuries,
and we
right?
actually put all the cosmetics in the bag. So we've got in here, for example, eyeliner, and we've got lip gloss, and eyeshadow. So all the little fun things, and we package them.
So now when it comes to the packaging, like some of the stuff that's here with us tonight, are there quality control or checks that are done with every parcel that comes in and goes out?
Yes, every box that comes into us, we inspect before it goes out. We try to be as equitable as we can with it, all the boxes going to a particular shelter, but we also want to make sure that there are not used items in there.
Okay.
That there isn't anything that's sized, because we don't know what the size of the women are that we're delivering to. Some shelters don't want razors to be included. Some don't want mouthwash.
Okay.
So we make sure that we adhere to all of those guidelines.
So there's like a little checklist then, that you guys would go through in terms of what the shelter's requirements are as well.
Right.
We actually met with each one of the shelters that we support before we started the project last year, just to get a handle on what their needs were and what their requirements were, and that was a very important part of the planning process.
Now, before we continue with the box, you touched upon the shelters. What shelters are you working with in the Peel Region area? I know you had mentioned Jacqueline, Salvation Army was one.
Salvation Army, Interim Place, Arma House, Family Transition Place, Family Life Resource Center.
Wow,
Women of Cawthra Road. Yes, about nine in total, plus their outreach programs.
Wow. And on average, how many shoe boxes do you supply each shelter with?
It really depends on how many women are in the shelters.
Right.
It can be anywhere from, about 50 to
50 per shelter.
a couple hundred.
Wow.
Yes, we have one shelter that has requested 250 boxes this year.
And how many women in the community are involved with this project? Because talking about those numbers with the shelters that you're dealing with, that's 9, and we're going anywhere between 50 to a couple of hundred of women per shelter. How many women are actually making all of this happen?
Over 300 easily.
Wow.
And
that's
it's really
across Peel
it's
Region.
really growing.
That is amazing. And it's touching to see the community so involved, right? Especially during the holiday season. Now let's get back to the boxes here, because I'm sure people are interested to see what is in the shoe box.
Okay, well, we try and put hats and gloves, warm things, chocolate, toothpaste, and
right,
nice
some of the
soaps,
the personal care products we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, these are all the basic things. And then one of the things that we did this year, we had so many women last year that said, what more can we do to get involved? So we were sort of talking about different ways that we could engage more women throughout the year.
Beyond the shoebox project.
The shoebox project. So we decided, wouldn't it be nice if we could get women knitting for the women in their community?
Phenomenal.
So we started a headband project, and we invited women that knit to make headbands for us, and we actually had, and then we also asked women who knew how to knit to teach people like Jacqueline and I who didn't know how to knit to knit headbands. So this was my first creation that I did after my first couple of lessons, and we have to date over 1,000 headbands that have contributed.
Essentially every box.
Every box will contain a hand-knitted headband, and it will actually have a little tag on it said "Made with Love" or "Made just for you" on it. So we're still putting the tags on the headbands.
Right.
And little did we know when we started this that headbands were going to be all the rage. Because now you go into all the gift shops and there's all these headbands.
Right.
So it's great.
I mean, this is only your second year.
Only our second year.
Let's talk about the Shoebox Project, Peel, and how it was for you starting it all last year, and what your expectations were in regards to that.
Well, I don't think we really knew what to expect.
We don't think we really had any expectations. I just remember our first sort of meeting where we sat over coffee and thought, who do we know?
Yeah.
Who's going to do this? We honestly said, I don't know, maybe 100. That was our goal.
Yes.
And then it was, gosh, I think we can get 250. And we ended up with 800
And
shoe
how did you
boxes.
guys get the word out there to generate that much of a community participation?
Well, I think we're very fortunate, Veronica and I, that we have quite large social circles. So it was just putting the word out to friends and asking them to put it out to their friends and their family and their colleagues.
Right.
And, you know, saying, mention it to your bridge club, mention it to your book club, ask them if they'll get involved. And they did. They jumped on it. And the first thing you know, they were having wrapping and stuffing parties, and we'd get a call saying, oh, I've got 12 boxes for you. And it was just great.
And it's just a great way to bring together amazing women, right?
And we've actually attended a few shoebox parties in the last week, and as these women are wrapping and stuffing the boxes, you can hear the chatter of them going, next year we should do this, or wouldn't it be fun to do that, or I'm going to get such and such a group that I'm part of to do this. So we're going, my gosh, like what's going to happen next year?
Well, in a year, the numbers have grown. You were saying earlier, in the first year, 800. Now this year, and you're not completely done yet,
No,
you're
we're
already
not.
at 1,200. It takes initiative at times to get things going. What inspired the two of you to start this project here for Peel Region?
I think both of us like to do for others. So, and to bring a little bit of happiness to someone that we know was, you know, in need.
Right.
Just gave us great joy, and if truth be told, it made our Christmas last year.
Absolutely. This
has
was
become
our Christmas.
Yeah. And for yourself, Veronica?
Absolutely. It was the same thing. I know I was looking for an opportunity to give back, and as soon as I heard about the project, it just really resonated with me, and I thought, I can do this. It's easy. It's simple. And what fun.
Yeah, and it's
And it
not
has been
just
fun.
a provincial or regional project,
No,
it's a national project,
it's
right?
a national project.
There are 35 chapters now across Canada.
And last year, over 9,000
Wow.
over 9,000 shoe boxes were delivered across Canada last year. And also, we're now a registered charity, and we have our first national corporate sponsor on board. Dream is now the national sponsor of the Shoebox Project for Women in Shelters, and I think that's just going to take the whole project to the next level. I
Oh
think
my
that's the
goodness,
corporate
this is
support.
amazing stuff, and we're definitely going to pick up after the break with more on the Shoebox Project. Here live in studio with us, Veronica Marsden and Jacqueline Findlay. We'll be back here with more on Cable 10 Live. Great, thanks Rachel. Now from holiday news with Rachel to holiday gift giving ideas. Now if you're looking for a hands-on way to give back to the community this holiday season, we've got the answer here for you tonight on Cable 10 Live. Joining us in studio are the co-coordinators of the Peel Region Shoebox Project, and that's Veronica Marsden and Jacqueline Findlay. Thank you again for joining us here after the break. Now I want to talk about how it's easy to turn a shoebox into a gift. This is benefiting women in shelters across the country, and most importantly here in Peel Region. Now I know there are some do's and don'ts of what to include in your shoebox. What are some of the do's on the checklist that are definite must-haves for the shoebox project?
Okay. Do include something warm. Do include something sweet, something good. Do include a gift card, which is one of the very favorite things that they get. So we encourage our donors to put in a gift card, whether it be to Tim Hortons, McDonald's, Walmart, whatever, something that these women can get a little break and go and enjoy a moment to themselves.
Now talking about gift card and dollars, is there an approximate cost that should go into the shoebox project?
Approximately $50. We like the women to feel that they've been treated equally, so we do put an approximate value of $50 per shoebox.
Okay. Now, talking about the shoebox as well, what are we looking at in terms of the shoebox size? I know there are specific dimensions. I mean, shoe boxes can be boots boxes and, you know, running shoe boxes.
Right.
Is there a particular size or dimension that we're looking at here?
Well,
I'm not sure we've actually got the dimensions here, but boot boxes are too large.
Okay.
And slipper boxes or children's boxes are too small, so something probably in between.
So we're looking more like the
It's sort
running
of like
shoe
this.
kind of
something
box,
like
right?
this.
12 and a half by, I don't know, 8 and a half or even a little larger.
And I think, too, what's important is that the lid be separate from the bond, as opposed to some of the athletic boxes where there's a hinge.
Right.
Because they're very difficult to wrap.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yes.
Good to know. And I
Yes.
mean, if you're not very good and savvy
No.
at wrapping, is there, I see yours are very well decorated. Any options that you can give or tips and ideas as to where people can get good shoe boxes if they want ones already decorated?
Yes, just go to your nearest Dollarama. I'd say post-Halloween. Once they get all the Halloween paraphernalia
And they start bringing
out,
the
they
holiday
bring
stuff.
in all the holiday stuff, and these are just awesome.
Yeah, they're really good.
So you get, we like to get the largest size, which would sell for about $2.50 to $3, and you know, it's decorated inside and outside, and they're perfect.
Beautiful.
They're perfect.
And I think too, because they're so nice, the women will keep them afterwards and they'll use them for storage.
Right.
But we've also done some other interesting things to engage a broader sector of the community. Is, for example, we've got a high school art department, and they're decorating a ton of shoe boxes for us.
Very smart.
And they're all going to be different and creative, and so there's different ways of getting, you know, getting fun shoe boxes, you know, really
Right,
nicely
and getting
decorated.
people involved.
That's
Exactly.
right. It's all about
Exactly.
community involvement.
Now, earlier we were also talking about quality assurance and making sure things are inspected before they get out. We touched upon some of the do's and what to include in your shoebox. What are some of the don'ts, and definitely don't put in there items in the shoebox?
Do you want to take that?
Sure. Well, nothing used. Everything must be new. Ideally, everything still should have a tag on it, without a price tag, but
Okay.
still the tag on it, so people know it's new. Sized clothing, because you don't know the size of clothing. No alcohol.
Oh, no alcohol.
And
Such as hand sanitizer, nothing like that.
Oh, so not even just alcohol to consume,
No,
but
no.
no alcohol.
Or
yes.
a mouthwash or anything like that.
Okay.
What else?
Nothing sharp that I guess they could injure themselves with.
And again, those are also going
Oh,
with...
and hotel samples.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't want hotel
Have people
spa
ever
samples.
put hotel
Oh, yes.
samples in?
Yes, there's
Oh,
a lot.
really?
They want full-size containers of everything.
So when you guys go through these boxes and there are items that you definitely have to take out, is there a stash of items that you go to, sort of like a reserve where then you can replace it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've had so many organizations and corporations provide and been very generous with product. So we have a lot of product on hand that we can use to
Okay.
supplement the boxes
Right.
that are in need of extra product.
Very, very good. Because I was wondering, if you're taking things out,
What's the box
what?
gonna look
Yeah,
like?
exactly.
Again, we try and make all the boxes look as equal as we can.
Right.
So we have our little team of inspectors and our little team of stuffers, and it's just a lot of fun.
Oh
It's
my
a good
goodness.
social thing. And if people choose to wrap their box themselves, what they have to remember is that the lid has to be wrapped separately to the bottom of the box.
So again, you can easily...
So we can
For
take the lid
inspection
off
purposes.
yeah,
and
inspection
inspect it.
purposes. Now, what would you say are some of the highlights for the both of you with this shoebox project? Because I can imagine, you know, getting a bunch of people together is a great, great energy, atmosphere, environment, doing something great for the community. What are some of the highlights that you guys experienced in your first and second year doing this?
I think a highlight for us was, I think the first group we got engaged was our book club. And I remember sitting at book club that first time when we were talking about the shoebox project. And all of a sudden, it became, our discussions didn't revolve around the books. It revolved around the book about the shoebox project. And to us, that was a sign that we'd really were an engaged group of people. So
Yeah.
that was a real highlight for us.
It was.
Oh, that's awesome. And for
was.
yourself, Jacqueline?
Yes, I'd say the same. And then to see those same people go out and come back to us and say, oh, I got all the women at my curling club involved, and I got all the women at my church involved. And,
Right.
you know, it was just, it's just heartwarming. It's lovely.
So,
Really, really
I mean,
lovely.
earlier again too, we also touched upon the growing numbers since you guys have started this for the Peel region. You were at 800 shoeboxes last year. You are now at 1,200.
Plus.
1,200 plus. What are your goals for next year? And what are the things that you'd want to change possibly with the shoebox project here in Peel region?
Well, I think one of the things that we're changing already this year, we've already well exceeded our need for the shelters that we're supporting. We're supporting all
Really?
the shelters in this region. So what we're doing is we are now wrapping shoeboxes generically so that we can leave each shelter with shoeboxes that they can then give to the women when they're admitted to the shelter.
Oh,
So as you can
wow.
imagine, if a woman is admitted, say, in February in the middle
Right.
of winter, you know, possibly fled an abusive relationship in the middle of the night, they're at their lowest point in their life. to be able to be greeted with, you know, the shoebox or the coordinators at the shelter with a little gift on their first day.
And that's
just
support,
something to
right?
brighten them up, brighten up their day. So that's what we're doing differently this year.
Right.
And
Because traditionally the women don't stay in a shelter any longer than 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So we know we're never giving to the same group of women every Christmas or whatever. So we just thought that would be a nice idea, so that there's always something on hand for the directors to give out to these women.
That's amazing. Now, you touched upon something, and you were saying that with community partners, things, you've got like those reserve products.
Right.
And a lot of sponsors providing products for this project.
Right.
What are some of the community partners, and what would you say is the biggest change since you guys have started?
Well, you know, I think what has amazed us is when we ask organizations or groups or community partners to support us, no one ever says no.
Oh, that's touching,
we
right?
barely are able to finish our little speech, and they'll go, of course, absolutely. And I think that's what's been so heartwarming is no one says no.
That's great. That's great. And it's a huge thing, you know, especially during this time of the year. I don't know, I could even imagine anyone saying no. It's an amazing, amazing project to venture into. So for those who are interested to be involved, who are looking for a hands-on way to give back to their community, how do they go about doing so?
Well, they can contact us by email at Mississauga
At Mississauga at
shoeboxproject.com. Right. Or they can
Sorry,
go on the main
ladies, I'm going to
website.
interrupt you there because we have Sonia from Brampton, a caller on the line. Hi, Sonia. Thanks for joining us here on the show this evening.
How are you guys?
We're well. How are you?
I'm okay.
Now, do you have a question here for Veronica
I
and
wanted to
Jacqueline
know
tonight?
where can I go to get some of my stuff delivered, like to my house?
Pardon me?
Where can I go to get some of that, like that delivered to my house, like the shoebox thing?
Delivered.
She wants to know how she can get the shoebox delivered to her house. Is that correct, Sonia?
Yeah.
Well, the shoe boxes are actually given out at the shelters for the
Okay.
women that are housed in the shelters.
Okay, so that was a great question, Sonia. And just to clarify for the viewers who are tuning in and don't know what the Shoebox Project is all about, it is essentially focused around the women in shelters across Canada and here in particular, Peel Region. So that question was from Sonia in Brampton. Thank you again for calling us here on the show. Now, again, before Sonia called in, we were touching upon how people can get involved.
So the website is Shoebox Project, but www.shoeboxproject.com.
Yes.
Perfect.
And when you go on, you can see all the different locations.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening. Again, Veronica Marsden and Jacqueline Findlay, the co-coordinators of the Peel Region Shoebox Project. Hear more on Cable 10 Live after the break.